So let me play you. Well, actually, no. First, peace, y'all. Welcome to Women in Hip Hop Wednesdays, a segment of the Let's Make a Classic podcast. Today, we are going to do an episode that we've done before called The Message. I am Coco Pela, also known as the Music Midwife, multi-hyphenate hip-hop artist, MC, songwriter, singer, producer, cultural organizer, and I'm so excited. The Message is an episode that we do where we unpack the lyrics, poetics, and truth-telling behind one song by a woman in hip-hop, breaking down the craft, the context, and the message behind the bars. What else do I want to tell you? Today we're talking about Tanya, Sweet Tea. Hi! Oh my God! My people are in the house. Today we're talking about Tanya, Sweet Tea Winley's Vicious Rap, one of the first rap records ever recorded by a woman, released in 1980. There's so many different layers to this, but we're going section by section because this track is history. Again, it's hip hop history, it's women in hip hop history, it's all the things. So let me just play y'all a little chunk. I can't play the whole song because Instagram would kick me off, but we do have the full-length podcast on YouTube. So when we make our grand transition at the end of the year to a different setup, I will start playing the songs in full. But take a little listen. This is Vicious Rap by Tanya, Sweet Tea Winley, and oh God, I'm gonna read also an excerpt out of. So our references for today are the rap anthology edited by Adam Bradley and Andrew Du Bois. And of course, y'all know from when we do Her Story in the Pages, right now we're reading through God Save the Queens by Kathy Yandeli, the essential history of women in hip hop. And last time we got into it, we read The Bronx is Burning, and she went into a lot of the first hip hop records. So I'll also read y'all a few tidbits from here just so that we can get some historical context, because we want to do our ladies justice, okay? If you feeling good, you can go ahead and drop comments down below. Again, like I said, invite your people because they might not know that this is happening. They might be a hip hop scholar just like me, right? They may totally nerd out on this stuff. It might excite them or thrill them, or they want to learn more. So make sure you invite folks. Okay, so here we go. Vicious Rap. Can you hear it?
I said the T-U-R-the-K-E-Y. I said the man isn't bad. You can't deny. He got the sticks in his hand and put on the drums. Another female.
I love. Pause. Thank you so much for saying I love this space. I literally wrote your name down on a post-it today. Nia! And okay, y'all don't get me started. I wrote your name down on a post-it today though about beats for the album. So we'll circle back to that, but I'm so honored that you're in this space.
The place, and he has the bass up in my face. He got the rhythm in his fingers without a doubt. He make the dudes stand back. The female starts to shouting as a Marty Moore on the guitar.
Okay, pause, because like I said, they'll cut me off if I really go in. But something to know about Vicious Rap is that Vicious Rap is 7 minutes and 15 seconds long, okay? So one of the things I was thinking about leading up to this episode was like, a lot of songs were like that. Like the Funky 4+1, I think it's Rapping and Rockin' the House. Am I tripping? Hold up. Let's look it up. Rapping and Rockin'. Yeah, Rapping and Rockin' the House, which came out a little bit earlier in the late 70s, also is long. And part of what I realized about that is this was a stage where the recording industry, the music industry, swooped in, right? So now we're not just in the cultural creative era of hip hop, but the music industry is trying to figure out, how do we make a profit out of this? How do we translate what's happening in the culture and at these jams onto wax? But they hadn't made that transition yet to like industry radio hip hop records, like what we're what's the word, y'all? Drop it in the comments. Like what we're accustomed to, right? Like we're accustomed to even hip hop records, rap records that are like less than 3 minutes these days, right? When you hear a song on the radio or in the club, sometimes they only play the hook, or they only play a part of the verse, or a part of the hook and a part of the verse, or the bridge. Back in my day, because I was born in 1987, I came up in the 90s, and you know, by the 2000s, I was a young teen, sneaking into clubs and stuff. So back in my day, they still, at hip hop shows, they still would spin the entire record. So you would see heads in the club spinning every single line, making eye contact with each other, right? They would spin the whole record. But at this point in hip hop, the music industry is trying to capture this live moment that happens. And we have to remember that pre-recording industry, hip hop music was a part of a live experience. So people are, before they're ever getting in the studio, like what MC WD was talking about, I believe it's in the Bronx is Burning chapter. She talks about MCs back in the day, old school MCs, wasn't just writing down their rhymes and getting a mic and recording in their closet or their home or going to the studio. First, you would have to get the permission of the DJ even to hop on his mic or her mic, right? Can I get on your mic? And then you would have to rock for the crowd. Or some of us also came up in the era where, you know, you would see a circle of MCs and you'd be like, it's a cypher, and try to push your way up in there, and you would have rhymes in your head if you weren't a ill freestyle rapper. For me, I was not a freestyle rapper. I was too much in my head, too nerdy. So I was like, okay, I gotta have some stuff prepared, which even MC WD and other old school MCs from back in the day talk about. You would go home and you would practice your rhymes because you didn't want to be caught slipping when a jam happened or when you rolled up on a cypher. And freestyle MCs such as Roxanne Shante, that's a whole different bag. And that's why someone like Roxanne Shante is such an epic MC, because even her first record that she cut, Roxanne's Revenge, was her, I think it's Molly Ma's crib, right? Her hopping straight on the mic and literally them being like, all right, Shante, this is what you gonna rap about, and her being like, all right, I got it. And it was her idea initially, y'all. I'm getting carried away. Big shout out to MC Sweet Tea. I love you. We're about to get into your lyrics, but I get so excited when we talk about this subject. But it was Roxanne Shantae's idea initially to spit on Roxanne's Revenge because when she heard about the beef that was happening, she was like, I should hop on, like let me rap. And then finally they decided that they would let her, I think it was Shannon Molly, but we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that the next time that we dive into the history book. What I'm trying to say is, freestyle rappers, we have to give them so much like love and respect, because not everyone can just hop on a mic or hop in a cypher and spit off the top of their dome. And what we're listening to right now, Vicious Rap, is a recorded track where they're trying to reproduce the vibe of the live function of a live jam. And at those live jams, we have to remember that the MCs were accompaniments to the DJ, right? Who had permission to rock, and their job wasn't just to pull up, grab the mic, and like awe the audience, right? It was as a part of a communal event to, as you'll hear in the record, right, shout different people out. So let me play a little bit more. I'm getting overexcited. Y'all know I love this shit. Okay, hold up. All right, where you at, mama? Did I delete it? I got so excited I deleted it. Let me see. Ha! Ha 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 ha. Okay, ready?
They're trying to get a little summer KD, y'all. He's gonna rock the place, and he has the bass up in my face.
Pause. What do you hear? She's shouting out the drummer, right?
He got the rhythm in his fingers without a doubt. He make the dudes stand back. The female starts to shouting as a Marty Mar on the guitar.
What does she say? Marty Mar on the guitar. She's shouting out just like a James Brown would shout out each of the musicians in his band. She's shouting out the musicians.
The man is a band, he is the star. He got a whole lot of rhythm and a lot of soul. He put the guys in check. The females in control, then there's a little old me, as you can see. And I go by the name of a Sweet Tea. So sit back, relax, and just take a chill. The Sweet Tea high, she's gonna tell you the deal.
Okay, pause. So then, of course, as a true MC, she's like, hold up. And then there's little old me. You know, I go by the name of Sweet Tea. And so she introduces herself. Again, it's important to understand this is a live band experience that's happening. So we have to think about these MCs as vocalists in a live band situation, which is very different than a lot of us rock these days with, you know, pre-produced tracks. It's totally different. Okay. Whew, I got a little carried away. All right. This is classic early hip hop party style. Shouting out the band, hyping up the crowd, spelling it out so that folks can chant along, right? She opens up. I said T-U-R, the K-E-Y. I said the man isn't bad, you can't deny. He got the sticks in his hand and a foot on the drums. Right? So, there's a part though in here, but listen, where she says, he put the guys in check and the females in control. Am I tripping? Did he say that? Hold up. Yeah. He got a whole lot of rhythm and a lot of soul. He put the guys in check, the females in control. That to me was very radical if we're thinking about this as 1980, right? Because we still have issues with sexism and gender roles to this day, but for a young black girl in 1980 to be saying that is a big deal. She's saying the women aren't just dancing in the crowd, we're running the show. Right? That line is cold. Okay, so what she got to say next? Let's listen, and hopefully IG won't mess us up. All right, here we go.
Get a touch, huh? I'm too much, huh? I thought the best go down in the nation. No other MC in creation like me could be faster just to rock.
All right. Literally just then IG shut me down. But that's okay because I got the lyrics right here. Okay? So let's read through it. So get in touch, huh? I'm too much, huh? I throw the best throw down in the nation. No other MC in creation like me could be faster just to rock this world. Cause she say, cause I'm hard as a rock, impressive as a, it's only me. That's all you need. I got the policy of satisfaction guaranteed. So just open up your eyes so you can see just why they call me MC Sweet Tea. Yes, I throw down hard and I rock so well. I put you under my magical spell. Ooh, shit. I'm representing and I'm nice about my clientele because on a scale of 1 to 10, I receive a 12. Okay, we hear you, girl. That's the tradition of the MC bragging, battling, claiming the mic. But for a woman in 1980 in hip hop, I mean, I feel like it's a big deal, right? But then at the same time, what it tells us is that women in hip hop and female MCs have been this dope, this raw, this ill, this audacious since the very beginning. That's a declaration. I belong here. I'm not asking for permission. Nicole, hey girl. All right. So this is a part where she actually totally flips the whole vibe. It's a political pivot in the middle of the verse. She goes, so get in touch, huh? I'm too much, huh? And you don't stop. You keep on, y'all. Hey, boo. She said, I said before the Lord God made the sea and the land, he gave Sweet Tea the master plan and the message to give all the other MCs about the earth, sea, and sky, the birds and the bees. How to make money, take money, steal, cheat, and lie. The main definition of the word survive. I know you heard the philosophy about you gotta give a little to gain a lot. Hold up. Like I said, hold up. You gotta to gain a lot. But these words don't pull, she says. Take a good look. Look at the government, how they sit back, relax, and don't give a damn. And every time you turn around, they're holding out your hand. And when you think of it, I said you start to holler about the 8-cent tax that's on the dollar. So we get all mad and it's hot as fire. But soon you cool off, and soon as you cool off, the prices get higher, and before you know it, you can't buy many with $1 because the value is a penny. For the money, huh? We're gonna scream and shout, and I'll let the government know what we all about. So, again, rewind, right? Some of the parts of this verse actually, when I first read it, struck me, and this is part of why I picked it, because I'm thinking, oh my God. Aspects of this are exactly the same as what we're facing right now. If we think about the way that the government is currently taking advantage of us, and right, it's 1980, right? This is one of the first recorded rap songs, period. But it's also one of the first rap songs to call out the government, to call out politics, to talk about taxes, greed, rising prices, basically the cost of living, and how, you know, the math is not mathing. And this is before conscious rap even had a name. She makes hip hop a tool for truth telling. And again, I want us to think about this as kind of a study of, wait a minute, if this is a party rocking song. This is the thing that's so ill and so mainly to me, is that she's rocking the track like she's at a live function. She got the guitarist, she got the drummer, she's shouting out all her people. She's giving us party vibes, and then in the middle she just quick pivots to talk about taxes, government, greed, rising prices, which to me indicates that this is a normal part of hip hop. And I think it's important to say, because sometimes people act like speaking truth to power is only meant for certain artists, like the conscious rappers or whatever the case may be. But hip hop culture, to me, and based on my understanding, was innately political, because as Gloria Steinem says, the personal is political, right? And so if a young, peace, Ayo, if a young Black woman in 1980 is talking about the government and the taxes and the greed of the government and why things are not affordable, right? In a party rocking song, that tells us that hip hop as a culture was already revolutionary, and part of speaking your truth, right, was to talk about what you were seeing and experiencing. And innately then now there's a political and social analysis happening. I love it. I love it. Then she pivots back. So get in touch, huh? I'm too much, huh? And you don't stop. You keep on. Say I was rocking a party, just doing my best, when a man told me I was under arrest. He said, follow me, ma'am, if you will. And when we get downtown, I'll tell you the deal. So he bagged a vice, and then he cuffed my hands. Let's read it from the book. Hold up. Since they won't let us play, since Instagram want to hate, okay? That's okay. We're going to start broadcasting from a different station soon enough so y'all can hear the original MC's voice. Okay, he said, follow me, ma'am, if you will. And when we get downtown, I'll tell you the deal. So he reads the rights, and then he cuffed my hands. He drove me downtown to the big man. For a year or two, they looked around and about. Want to know what sweet tea was all about? I said, I don't know what or why I'm here, but without a doubt, I have no fear. He said, get in a cell and don't waste my time because you're under arrest for first-degree rhymes. Y'all heard that shit? She said, I got picked up because my rhymes were so ill. I'm getting arrested. When I read this shit, I was just like, it's epic. She said, the next day, huh, you see, I went to court and I took the stand just like I was taught. They put the Bible in my hand and said, speak the truth. And when they took it away, I said, I do. I said, I'm just an MC. That's all I am. And I shock the house when there's a mic in my hand. I don't snort, I don't smoke, I just keep it clean. And I'm not into the junkie scene. I'm just asking for a little sympathy because my crew, my crew is waiting for me. So they took the votes and they let me go. And here I am, I said, in stereo. Woo, in stereo, and you don't stop. Y'all, oh my God. When I heard this shit, I was like, okay, no wonder she named it Vicious Rap, because she was not playing. It's interesting, it's funny, it's creative, it's witty. And when I tell you, I felt like it was so deep because when we're thinking about her writing this rhyme, she's in the party-rockin rhyme. She pivots to start talking about taxes, greed, injustice, the government. And then she talks about getting arrested and being harassed by the police. And then in the middle of it, she flips it and is like, actually, I got arrested because my rhymes are so fucking ill and dangerous and vicious, basically. I feel like she's also sharing, you know, I'm about the art, the skill, the message. Man. Okay, so I'm gonna read you a little bit more. She said, in stereo, and you don't stop. Now, there's a couple of girls that's all right with me. They ain't DJs and they ain't MCs. They put the dues in check and it ain't a joke. And that's Jackie J. And it says here Big Stokes, but I don't know. When we walking down the street side by side, the males take a chill and the girls stand aside. We're not gangsters or the mafia. We won't mess with you if you don't mess with us. Women giving props to other women in hip hop in 1980, even though these women weren't DJs or MCs, shows Community and Sisterhood on wax. Oh Lord, and it goes on, and you don't stop. So listen, before we wrap it fully, I wanted to read you a little bit from our last reading, The Bronx is Burning from God Save the Queens by Kathy Yanderly, where she just says a little section about the Winley sisters. Hold up. So the Winley sisters, Tanya and Paulette, released a few songs. They released Rhymin' and Rappin' in 1979. So the year before Vicious Rap dropped, Tanya Sweet Tea Winley dropped a song called Rhymin' and Rappin' with her sister Paulette. And on that track, she says her MC name Paulette T. They also shout out their brother Gangsta, who was apparently moving through the streets. But let me not get carried away. Their father, Paul Winley, turned his doo-wop label, Winley Records, into a hip-hop label, the first label to actually cut a record with Africa Bambaataa. Tanya Winley was known on the solo front as the original Sweet Tea, predating Toy Sweet Tea Jackson, the prominent female MC who in 1986 scored a hit called It's My Beat, featuring the legendary DJ Jazzy Joyce. As a group, the Winley sisters recorded the single Rhymin' and Rappin' not Rockin' the House, that's the Funky 4+1, in 1971, and Sweet Tea dropped her solo track Vicious Rap in 1980. There's a debate over whether Sweet Tea was the first female soloist to cut a record, since she recorded her song in 1971. Since she recorded her song in 1979, the same year as Lady B's To The Beat, y'all, but it wasn't released immediately. So in 79, Paulette T and Sweet Tea record Rhymin' and Rappin'. It comes out, but Vicious Rap, the solo track, doesn't come out until 1980. So there's this debate over whether or not she's the first female soloist. But she's definitely, that's mother, right? She's one of our mothers. So much. Let's see. So one of the cool things too about this record is she closes it the same way she opens it. And I wish that Instagram wasn't hating on us so that we didn't get shut down so you can hear it. But she closes with, one more time, y'all. I said the T-U-R, the K-E-Y. I said the man isn't bad, you can't deny. He got the sticks in his hands and the foot on the drums. And all the females, they trying to get a little some of KD, y'all. He gonna rock the place, and he has the bass up in my face. He got the rhythm in his fingers without a doubt, right? So we hear drums, bass. He makes the dudes stand back. The females start to shout, and then there's Marty Marr on the guitar. I said the man isn't bad, he's a star. He got a whole lot of rhythm and a lot of soul. He put the guys in check, the females in control. Then there's little old me. As you can see, I go by the name of Sweet Tea. So sit back, relax, and just take a chill, because Sweet Tea, I'm gonna tell you the deal. Because hip-hop never ends. We just pass the mic to the next generation, right? And also, I love this because it's laying the foundation for recorded song format, and it tells us too, right, that even back then, MCs were composing their rhymes in a way where there was still, because you notice this entire rhyme, and I want you to go and listen to it after we're done with this episode. Play it and listen to it, live with it yourself, because we're all hip-hop scholars, right? Heads are just hip-hop scholars, and so we're learning together. But something interesting about this song, Vicious Rap, is that we see the format, or rather the arrangement coming together. This whole 7-minute and 15-second song has no hooks, right? And that's something that people do now when they want to be fancy, right? Y'all, I forgot what the name of that song, the first time that Kendrick released a song with no hooks straight through. So that's always like when people, I feel like he might have had one on the latest album too, but anyway, I digress. But when an MC want to just like really just flex, they release a track with no hooks. They're like, look, I don't need no catchy shit, right? I don't need no catchy shit. This is just however many bars of just like epic goodness. So I think it's interesting that one of the first recorded hip hop records is a 7-minute and 15-second record with no hook at all, just verses upon verses upon verses, and that she starts with basically an intro, and then she uses the same one at the end as an outro. Let me see. So Tanya, Sweet Tea Winley's Vicious Rap is a masterclass. Party vibes, political fire, storytelling, sisterhood. She was not just rapping, she was blueprinting, right? Speak your truth, claim your space, bring your people with you. That's why we honor her today on Women in Hip Hop Wednesdays, The Message. Okay? Go listen to Vicious Rap. Tell somebody about Tanya Sweet Tea Winley. Play her music. Say her name, because this is our history. And we keep it alive when we say their names. That's it. I love y'all. Drop a comment in the chat if you have any thoughts that are percolating. We will, of course, release like maybe one or two clips here on Instagram, but know that you tune in every single Wednesday on my YouTube channel. Hi, honey. Dang. Oh my God. We are just about to wrap up, but every single Wednesday right here on IG Live, I usually do it from 12 to 1 p.m. From 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific. Yeah, come back. If you missed any part of this podcast, this IG Live, you can always go to my channel, youtube.com/CocoPeila, CocoPeila. And if you are looking for any of my new music, you can go to the link in my IG bio. You can also go to my website, but there is a link to sign up for my newsletter. And when you sign up for my newsletter, I actually give you I give you a private listening link. You can't own it unless you invest in the capsule, but I give you a private listening link to the first single off the album. So those are all the ways that you can like get in touch, stay connected, and share this with other people, because believe me, like I said, I'm a hip hop nerd. I've scoured the internet, and there aren't any other podcasts about women in hip hop. And so invite people who you know love women in hip hop, love the culture, are invested, want to exchange information, want to paint the timeline, want to just be in this conversation. I love y'all. All right.